Okay, we're recording. Are you ready to start the questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. First question. What characteristics does someone need to have in order to succeed in a role as a dental hygienist?
So, um, based off personal experience, I'd have to say that they would have to be a little more on the outgoing side. I've noticed when the hygienist comes in for me personally, they're very happy, they're very upbeat. They come into the room, they make themselves known, they ask you questions about your day to day activities. So I'd have to say that maybe they'd have to be a little bit um, outgoing and definitely knowledgeable. I feel like that's a must. Knowledgeable about their job and whatnot. Outgoing and knowledgeable. Yeah, I'd say those two things.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with you. My dental hygienist, her name is Luz, and she has a big personality, and like she can always answer my questions, and like she's just like I get so excited to see her every time I go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make it an experience for you. They make it, you come in, you feel like family.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, moving on to the next question. This pertains to chapter 2, the meaning of life. Will the services you provide affect people's livelihoods? And if so, how does that affect your own livelihood, especially in terms of self-fulfillment?
So, becoming a hygienist is an act of service. It's a public service. You're going to be assisting people with their dental health, which is going to ultimately affect their well-being. Because if you come in with like a really bad toothache, you're gonna want someone to fix it. So I feel like that's going to make me feel fulfilled in life because I'm gonna be helping people with their pain. You know, they're gonna come in, they're not gonna understand what's wrong with their mouths, and then I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna help them feel better. So in return, it is going to make me feel, I suspect, pretty fulfilled in my life.
Yeah.
I would say that. It also helps that dental hygienists do get paid very well, which is a bonus.
That is definitely a valid part of self-fulfillment.
Yeah. So I feel like those two things are going to help me feel fulfilled. Having that financial stability, hopefully, and then, of course, assisting those who come in with like tooth pain and whatnot, and I'm able to be a part of that cure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That was a really good answer. Thanks. Next question. This is pertaining to chapter 3 on God. Did your religious or spiritual beliefs influence or at least encourage your chosen career and educational paths?
So, I did get raised up in a Christian household. As for my personal beliefs, I do believe in God and I believe that He exists. I feel like my beliefs are a little bit different, but for this time around, I wouldn't particularly say that I chose the dental field because of God or my religion. Like I said, I grew up in like a more intense religious household, a Christianity household. I've sort of not strayed away, but I feel like I've kind of developed how I feel about the religion. And so I really wouldn't say that it helped me choose what I wanted to do.
I get what you're saying. So you grew up in an intense religious environment, but now you still feel religious, but sort of just in your own way. Aside from
I've
like
kind of
sorry,
Oh,
go ahead. Aside from like what the expectations of your religious to I'm sorry, let me restart. Aside from what your religious expectations were from your family, just coming from your own beliefs like sitting here, me and you, whatever you believe is very valid. It has nothing to do with your family. So just from your own beliefs, take your family out of the equation. Do you think maybe it had anything to do with it? If it didn't, that is also a valid answer, but just making sure.
Again, I feel like I'm most likely going to have my work life and my spiritual life separated from one another. Of course, going to God for like stress and whatnot, I guess means it's associated with one another. But I wouldn't say it's because of my faith. It's because of God. I mean, I'm assuming that in the Bible it's like good to help others, which is what I'm going to be doing. But again, I wouldn't really say that it's because of my faith.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to write and listen.
Yeah, no problem.
Next question, chapter 4, reality. So for me, I have surface level knowledge. With surface level knowledge, one could assume white teeth and a good breath equates to having good oral hygiene. Do you believe that there is more to it than those things? And what made you want to go beyond having that surface level knowledge?
So, there is definitely more to a clean mouth than what looks shiny and pretty. I had, unfortunately, a friend who, and when I say had, I don't mean like anything bad happened to them. Our friendship just didn't work out.
Okay.
I had a friend who was going into the dental hygiene field as well. She was finishing up her degree. And I definitely took some inspiration from her. She was talking to me about like, yeah, they have so many programs and this. And I just remember starting off college, not 100% knowing what I wanted to do. And I would just look up. I remember looking up something simple like most satisfying jobs, and dental hygienist was always at like either the first or top 5. And I have an aunt who's also in the dental field. So I just kind of took some inspiration from that. I also, on my spare time, have been interested in things like certain surgeries, like looking at videos on, for example, like how they do a root canal or something like that. So, yeah, I would say that I definitely do have some interest in finding out more deeper information about this field.
Great answer. Thank you so much. Okay, so... Oh, okay, no, never mind. I'm all good. Could you tell me the reason / a reason you chose this profession, and the important part of this question, how do you know your reasoning to be true?
Okay, so it may come off a little shallow, but as I mentioned prior, dental hygiene, it is a very well-paying field. I do like the idea of serving people. Whenever I was sitting down by myself and thinking about what kind of career I wanted, I knew it was probably going to be somewhere in the service field because I guess it's just something I'm most familiar with. I guess I can be a pretty good people person when needed. But growing up, I wasn't always the most financially stable. So when sitting down with myself, I was like, okay, whatever I do, I don't want to like hate it, but I want to make sure that I'm paying my bills and I want to lead a comfortable life, more comfortable than I had it. Yes. I had what I needed, but growing up, I kind of want a little bit more. I don't want to grow up to be like living in mansions or have like crazy looking cars, but I would like to have, just a little bit extra money for myself. The idea of being financially stable and then a little bit, then some, a little extra is very appealing to me. So that's another factor that kind of pushes me in school, the money for sure, which can sound shallow, but it's something that I definitely keep in mind when choosing, my major.
Yeah, and I've actually brought that up in class before, how I feel like almost guilty to say that salary is part of the reason why I want to do what I want to do, but really they're like, most of the salaries we're talking about in class are not millionaire salaries, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be comfortable, and it would make a lot of sense if you didn't if you were like maybe financially insecure or unstable growing up, that's something that like you think about now and really want. So that makes complete and total sense. So yeah, don't feel bad about that, just saying.
Yeah, no, I just think it's kind of weird how some people try to make you feel guilty for like admitting that, yeah, I'm kind of in it for the money, but not even in a greedy way. Like, yeah, you're just admitting, yeah, I'm kind of working my butt off to make sure that I have that salary. I just feel like we live in a world where sometimes money can buy happiness,
Yeah, and
I won't say that for everything, but I feel like it can for a lot of things.
Especially when money is needed just to be comfortable and stay afloat. And also with, I know you must have all these thoughts in your head and they're not organized, but like with me writing this down, like you weren't financially stable growing up, so that's something that's important to you, and then on top of that you're getting fulfillment out of the act of service you're doing. So like this is such a perfect way for you to go.
Right. I agree.
Moving on, could you describe what it's like to be a dental hygienist in terms of self-identity, or in your case, what it's like to be in the process of becoming a dental hygienist?
So, becoming a dental hygienist, I am still in my prerequisite courses. So, I'm still a freshman. I'm going to become a sophomore the upcoming semester. So I haven't quite hit, the meat and potatoes, as they say, of this degree yet. But as of right now, to answer your question, I just try and make sure that I have everything in line. I'm looking at everything, like all of my options, because if I don't particularly like hygiene, I'm trying to make sure that I know that there are other branches with other things that I can branch off of with the degree that I'm getting. I've heard that I can do something with like managing an office instead, or I could become an assistant. I'm just thinking about keeping all of my options open. So that way, if this doesn't work out, I have a plan B to fall back on. That's my current thought process right now.
Okay. I'm gonna rephrase that question a little bit, because the way I wrote it, I'm looking for something specific, and the way I wrote it, I probably just didn't do a good job at it. So let me try to rephrase this.
Okay.
So let me make sure that I did it. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna need like 20 seconds. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. I have a better question for you.
Okay.
How does it feel to tell people that you're going into a field of service?
Oh, like the emotional portion of it?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, it definitely it gives me an ego boost, because you know, usually talking about your major can kind of be a little flex if you know that the field makes money or has a good reputation. Like talking about, oh yeah, I'm in law school. I'm going to be a lawyer. Usually people kind of use that as an ego boost. I don't really go around quote unquote flexing or showing off that I'm currently a dental hygiene student, but it kind of gives me a little ego boost, I won't lie, whenever it is mentioned or I'm talking about it. But other than that, I also got a slight feeling of unsure just because I'm always, I guess, a little paranoid about everything in my life going the way I want it. Just because I feel like I definitely don't have the greatest grasp on life. Though from what I hear, not a lot of people do. You just kind of have to take it as it comes to you. Yeah. So that's definitely what I'm feeling right now.
Would you say that the ego boost, so you said that that has to do with like people knowing or assuming that you'll be in like a high range salary,
right?
Is there, what about like, do you feel like an ego boost just in the fact that like you're somebody who helps people and like we talked about earlier, like you like are like solving people's pain and stuff?
Well, when I think of a person or myself bragging about earning a degree in the dental field, definitely the first thing that comes to mind is the money, because that is a very high paying field, because people are always going to screw up their teeth in very freaky ways. So people are always going to pay top dollar to have them fixed. So yeah, definitely the money. And then the second thing that comes to my mind is, people are going to assume I'm really smart because I went to pre-med or med school to earn this degree. So they're going to assume off the bat, after telling them that I have this degree, oh, she's smart. So they're going to look at me differently, hopefully higher than, those are the two things. And then of course the third thing, she helps people, and that's really awesome. Just those three things definitely come to my mind.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Sorry we spent so much time on that one.
No, it's okay.
Next question. This one pertains to freedom. Did you consider freedom when making your career choice in terms of what your work-life balance would look like?
So
we can actually scratch the second part of that question. It doesn't have to be that specific. We can just say, I'll just ask you, did you consider freedom when making your career choice, period?
Freedom. Well, when I think of freedom, I think of more financial freedom. I hope I don't come off really shallow when I talk about money a lot.
Money is important. Like,
yeah,
it is a survival tool. Do not feel bad about it.
Yeah. So when you said money, I thought of financial freedom. So, like I said, growing up, it's not that we were poor or anything, but I wasn't able to have like things I wanted. Sometimes we were struggling, to put food on the table. Sometimes we did have food, but sometimes it just would have been nice to have some of the things that I wanted, go on loads of vacations and stuff like that. So hopefully with me earning this degree, I find myself feeling that the financial freedom, which will be not having to worry so much about money coming in, worrying about having bills being paid, worrying about, if I get my nails done, will I be able to afford the water bill? I think when I think of freedom for this degree, I think of financial freedom. I want to have a comfortable life. I want to lead a more comfy, a little a little luxurious, not crazy, just like, oh, I can afford to get my nails done. I can afford like a nice bag, a vacation once a year, just that type of freedom. That's what I think of.
Yeah. So what I just wrote down, it sounds like you grew up in somewhat a survival mode. Like everything was just about surviving rather than enjoying. So so it would make a lot of sense that you really like want to have some
and
leisure.
I didn't grow up on like the side of the road or anything.
No,
We had a home.
Yeah, many people, most I feel like most Americans are like in survival mode just because most people are living from paycheck to paycheck, and like
right.
If you have to think about your bills, or I I I don't think being homeless or like being extremely poor even means that. Like I think there are families with somebody who makes 60,000 a year, but they have 5 people, 6 people in their family, and like they're in survival mode because they're trying to balance that.
Right.
But so the next question, would you say negligence in a field like dental hygiene is more immoral than a field that doesn't involve physical work on a person's body? If I need to repeat the question, I can.
I'm sorry, say that last part again. I didn't hear you.
If I need to repeat the question, I can. I know my questions have all been really long.
So, negligence on the job?
Yes. So, would you say negligence in a field like yours, where you're working on someone's body, is more immoral than, let's say, somebody who works at Best Buy doesn't do the paperwork correctly? They're not actually working on someone's body.
Oh, okay. I understand better. Yeah. If that is definitely when it becomes a problem. If you're so in it for the money that you no longer care about your patient's health anymore, and you just kind of do a half-assed job on their mouth just so you can say that you did it and go home. Definitely not right. Like, yeah, I get it. So it's a very well-paying job and whatnot, but if you're making your patient uncomfortable, or if you're, like I said, doing just a half job and they go home and they feel like, oh, what was that? Why did I pay so much? Like, why did I pay top dollar for that service? That is definitely when it becomes a problem, in my opinion.
This isn't like an official question, but would you say that like dental hygienists always have to be on their A game and like super hyper vigilant?
So, yeah, when it comes to work, I think people have their off days, and if you're in a bad mood and life just puts you in it, it's gonna happen. But if you have an off day, that is definitely so much different than always being that person who's always coming in, who is has the worst reviews with the patients. Like the employees have a hard time with them. That is definitely significantly different than having, an off day, because life just throws stuff at you. You can't help it. You can't do anything about that. You're going to have a bad day. It's inevitable. You're going to have a bad day at work, and maybe you won't convey the best energy to your patients. That is definitely different than coming in every day, all the time, just with an attitude, only there for the money. That's what I think.
Okay, so I put off days are okay, but chronic patterns are unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next question. This pertains to justice. What would you do in a situation if you disagreed with sorry, let me restart. What would you do in a situation where you disagreed with a dentist's decision making pertaining to a patient's oral care?
Well, if the dentist is respectful. You know, I am not sure if there's a power imbalance. It sounds like there might be in a workplace. It sounds like there could be a power imbalance because there is. I won't lie. I definitely suspect that I may work with some dentists that think that they're smarter than me, they're better than me. It just sounds like something that's going to happen because the level of work they put into a dental degree is going to be far more significant than the degree I'm earning. They will have, I believe, a standard dental degree to becoming a dentist takes a decade. You know, it's not even half of that for a hygiene degree. And even so, half of that is still, you know, it's crazy what they have to do to become a dentist. And that's why they get paid a lot. So I definitely suspect that there's going to be a power imbalance. So, yeah, I think if a dentist were to do something that maybe I wouldn't do, I would probably do my best to bring it up to them and be like respectful about it, of course. But of course, at the end of the day, they are the dentist. I don't think I will be able to bypass anything they say to the patient. And they are pretty sure going to be legally responsible for whatever they recommend to the patient. If I go behind their back and recommend anything else, then that'll be on my hands. And I don't even think that I will be able to take the heat for that because I'm not the doctor. So if I knew in that instance, if I knew something that the dentist didn't, I would probably just do everything that I can to make sure that my information comes across, and hopefully, you know, they either listen or, you know, but I don't think I would go behind their back and tell the patient otherwise. That may do something very bad.
Would you, so it's illegal, but would you also say that would be immoral? For you to go behind a dentist's back and talk to a patient, for example?
It is a little immoral, but at the same time, it isn't, I feel. If I knew better than the dentist, then yes, it would be a few hairs immoral to do that, because that's me saying, oh, you aren't smart enough for this one. That degree, that's not enough. You know? So in that regards, I would be disrespecting them. But like I said, if on the other side, it would be beneficial because at the end of the day, the patient's health is what is more important than being slightly disrespectful, you know? So I feel like it's kind of a gray area.
Yes. Okay. Next question. Only one more after this one.
Okay.
Do you believe that dental hygienists take care of their own oral health differently than the average person not in the dentistry field would?
So, I remember I was looking into like teeth whitening methods, and the woman who I was watching was a dental hygienist, and her teeth were very clean, very white, and you know, just from what I saw in like the video, and usually the videos that I see, their teeth look clean. They always look white. They always look very well polished. Now, I mean, this could be, I don't know if they like actually take care of their teeth or they just pay for whitening, cleaning services, which also could be the case. But from what it seems like they do. It seems like they do take care of their teeth better than the average person. I can imagine knowing more about the mouth, knowing what causes certain illnesses and just stuff like that would cause you to take better care of the insides of your mouth and whatnot. I have heard, though, that on the opposite side, nurses and whatnot, people in that type of medical field, I've heard by several people that they don't take care of their health. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure if that applies here, but that's just something that I thought of. Just hearing a practitioner say, yeah, you think that we would take care of ourselves since we're in the medical field and we're dealing with dying people, sick people all the time, but we really don't. And I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah, that
so
actually makes sense.
I don't know if that can be said here. But yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, that honestly makes a lot of sense, but I think I feel like the reason why it would be different is because, like, with, like, medical stuff, if it's, like, inside of you and you can't see it, it's easier to ignore.
Yeah, agreed.
But, like, teeth, I guess.
You can see their surface level. You can see them. You can see. Yeah, agreed.
So, very last question pertaining to beauty. Do you believe having straight, white teeth, or let's restart this question. Do you believe having... Actually, I'm going to say straight white teeth because I was just going to say good teeth instead, but then we have to, like, talk about what good means. So, so do you believe having straight white teeth motivates someone to be a better person morally?
So, having straight white teeth is the standard that society gives. Every commercial you'll see, they will not have any gaps, chips, spaces in between. It's going to be very aligned and it's going to be very white. So I think, honestly, a little bit. I remember I had braces. I had a very messed up mouth of teeth. So they pulled a lot of teeth from my mouth. They corrected it. And then I recently whitened my teeth. And I have to tell you, it's so weird. But after going through the teeth whitening process, I felt so much more confident. And it's such a cliche thing to say because you always hear it in the commercials. Oh, yeah, I got my teeth done. Now they're straight and now they're clean. And they look clean and I feel more confident. And it's, like, actually true. Once I was done with, like, the little box of whitening strips, I felt so much better about myself as a person. Now, do I think that your teeth have to be straight? No, I don't think so. Well,
I know that
maybe.
There's a little bit of I know that there is actually a little bit of, like, a difference between straight teeth and clean teeth. Like, I think even in society, like, not straight teeth are accepted, but I think it's more of, like, a, like, super jacked
it's frowned upon.
Or, like, I feel like I've sometimes seen, like, a model have, like, a gap and, like, people are like, oh, like, such a cool gap that she has.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that are kind of accepted, but the teeth are usually still straight to a degree.
Yes.
So, honestly, I do kind of think if a person has the option, like, let's say a person has a really messed up set of teeth and they're given, like, free treatment and they're going to be given braces or Invisalign for free, and then they're going to have their teeth whitened afterwards. I think that is going to make them feel better about themselves. Will it make them a better person? It might motivate them. I don't know. It might motivate them to, like, go and do, go out, do whatever, because now they feel like they look good. Now they can open their mouth and people might take them seriously. Because, like, I won't lie, I've spoken to a few people with, like, really funky teeth, and it kind of makes you look at them a certain way. Like, oh, wow, do they not take care of themselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that you think it makes them a bad person, but it definitely does have an effect on people's image of you. And I'm not going to lie and be like, yeah, you shouldn't 100% care about what people think of you. Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But I think you should also keep up your hygiene and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I personally had braces recently for like a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I feel so much more confident now, and I want to talk to more
Mm-hmm.
people and like smile at more people and stuff. And
Right.
I I personally my teeth didn't have like a dramatic change, but I could definitely see how if someone were to have, like, let's say, like, quote unquote jacked up teeth, and then they were to go to like a quote unquote perfect smile, I could see how
Mm-hmm.
that would like maybe make them want to be a better person too. Cuz
Yeah.
yeah. Was that your experience?
So I had my braces for about a year and a half. They had to pull 8 teeth from my mouth
Oh
over the
wow.
span of like my middle school and early high school years. I had a
Wow.
lot of different procedures done. Then I had to have my wisdom teeth removed. A lot of teeth pulled from my mouth.
Wow, yeah.
And after they realigned everything, they even corrected my jaw.
Oh wow.
So now I have a jawline because of braces. It's crazy what
Mm-hmm.
rubber bands can do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Um, I have. I used to have very visibly incorrect looking teeth,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're literally perfect looking, and now they're white. I feel very confident in talking to people. I
Mm-hmm.
feel very confident smiling. So based off of personal experience, I would say, yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I feel better when I talk to people. I feel like I can without them judging me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like, yep, I have straight white teeth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,